from me. Great interview. Hope there are like 5 parts.
Oh, really? So, like, Walt, you need to read your own thing? That's great. That's classic in itself. That he has all the comments and he has them highlighted. And this is from me. He reads his own comment.
Hey,
I love that.
I comment on the
He
comments.
comments on the comments.
That's right.
And then he reads his own comment on the show.
But
well, Walt, let me just tell you
the
personally.
point is, I love Juan,
I'm glad that
and
you
I
like
hope there are more episodes.
There will be more.
See?
Well, no, let me not even tell the camera. You're sitting here. Let me just look at you. There will be more like that. Amazing.
Why, thank you.
Well done. Can I hit this now?
Yep. George Peterson. Dang it, I wanted to hear more. Good interview, and you will. Next comment. Rage of War. Juan did the EP, and it's so sick. I think that's a local band from here.
Anything Juan touches is so sick. He's got a great ear for it, and it's just working with him. He gets it. He gets totally into it. If you guys need an album or demo, Juan Urtiaga, Trident Studios, Pacheco, California. It's a way to go.
Rick DeVault. Love this guy. Love this episode. And Extreme Sabatini says, great producer.
Oh, all of the above. All of the above. Again, I can't pump Juan enough. It was so much fun. And we'll have him in again because we're going to talk about other aspects of being in a studio and running a studio and what he hates. We were talking about that. We're going to get into Juan and see what he can't stand about if a band's unprepared or whatever. So we're going to get into that.
Dagobah System 1989. Hey, Mr. Zetro, sir, I was wondering if I had to quit a job, I could get you to do Cameo, but my drive on my computer goes insane. But would you do a happy birthday message via Cameo.com as well?
I can do any of that.
Any of it, huh?
Any of that. Just go to Cameo. I'll tell your girlfriend. I'll break up with her for you. I got no shame, bro. Whatever you want. All
right. From the Headbangers Ball 1989, Blaspherian Hordes wrote, saw this tour in Houston at the Houston Coliseum. Such a crushing show. And I remember at the end of Anthrax's set, the kids threw all the chairs from the floor in the middle of the floor and were marching around them. Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah, because a lot of these venues at that time didn't know what they were getting into. Anytime we walked in and we saw chairs on the floor, I mean, it was like, hey, how much you got? How long you think they're going to last? It was like, so, a lot of times they had tried to get security to stand in between. It wasn't only a couple of shows in between them, so that people wouldn't be like standing up and getting raucous, but by their set. But they tried to hold them back for us by Anthrax. I mean, yeah, it was,
Anthrax still does it with Joey Belladonna. Love it.
And just they put him in the center. They were like circling around the fucking chairs. It was like,
I can imagine during Indians.
Broken chairs.
Big Ant Yo Heights. I need a 3XL Toxic Vault shirt right here.
I don't know if we do 3XL. I'll have to get back on my producer with that. You big guys, it's tough to get my pretty face on that shirt. So, but in time we're going to get them because it's there's been so many. We did a test set to see how well they do, and they've done really good. So we're definitely going to do them. So be patient. We're on that.
There's some big boys out there.
We know that. We want you representing, so we will.
Red Fly. So glad I was around for these days. It was really the golden age of metal.
I agree with that. When you're doing something and you don't know what you're doing and it comes out to be this thing that it's turned into, you could look back on anything like that, television, movies, or whatever, and call it the golden age just because you're just so naive and so innocent. Well, not innocent. Innocent's not the word to use. I would say uneducated on the things that you needed to know in the business, but we're not really worried about it because other things were keeping in your head instead. There was party, there was girls, there was
I think in the early days, you didn't worry about the business part. It was about having fun and being on stage, right?
As long as there was money coming in the bank account, we didn't even ask how much all the time. We were just like, fuck it, let's go.
Metal First Krieg. RPI Fieldhouse in Troy, New York. My first real concert. Great show. Remember that?
Troy, New York. That was on the Headbangers Ball Tour as well.
Yeah, we're on that one, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember Troy. I remember all the New York shows. They were great.
This is a great name. Polly Porkchop Vids. I saw this tour at the Felt Forum in New York City. Great venue.
It was downstairs. That was the closest we ever got to Madison Square Garden, which is, I believe it's called the Paramount now, but it was called Felt Forum back in the day. 2 nights, 5,000 sold out. But it's the Madison Square Garden is a multiplex. You know, there's the big room and the little. It was the room down from the big room. But to me,
Still
I
historic.
was still there. I was still there.
Dimmel. Zetro, thanks for doing something with your time. I know you're bored waiting on Holt to finish the Slayer tour. Exodus should be fine. Gary should fine Gary the re-recording cost of the new record.
We'll get together as soon as he comes back, and I'm doing this. I have time right now to do this, and the reason I'm doing this, somebody who I trust really good in the business kind of talked me into it, and I was a little bit skeptical at first, and then I started doing it, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So it worked out really good. And what's going to be great is when I go on the road, I'm going to bring a camera with me, and I'm going to keep doing inserts from the road. It won't necessarily all be down here in the vault. It'll be Zetro on the road. So you'll get some of those road stories and some of the things that we do firsthand.
Dan Boone, we got stoned on your bus, Springfield, Massachusetts. You turned us on to violence. Perry was playing drums at the time for you guys.
That's an awesome memory that you have. We smoke. You know how many people on the bus I've smoked with? That's great though, but we probably did because Violence wasn't really. There wasn't an album out yet from them guys, so then they were just working on it.
They were big here, but in
nobody
other parts
knew
of the
them.
country.
Yeah, so that's probably happened. Good memory.
Guitar Chugs, awesome videos. That just saw your episode with Phil. I interviewed him as well. Awesome guy.
Yep. I'm actually doing something with him later in this year, and I'll have him back on the vault, and we'll talk about that.
Breaking news. Pat Whitaker. I didn't catch the HBB tour, unfortunately, but I did catch a kick-ass Exodus run. That'd be cool to hear Zet talk about. Share some insights on this, etc. 1993's Slam Fest tour with Exodus, DRI, Propane, and Body Count.
Okay, I'm going to have to do a whole episode on that tour, but let me just say, there was mayhem every fucking night because of the cop killer controversy that Ice-T had going at that time. Remember, that song was out. I mean, fucking President Bush was talking about Clinton. They were all talking about, how an artist should writing a song about killing a police officer. They made a big deal about it. So I got stories for that. I got a whole episode, but I'll do one on that. Good comment. That's this type of
and
shit.
That run was actually right before you took a break, and Tempesta was on drums.
No, that was with Johnny.
Yeah, Tempesta was on drums.
John was with us already. That was the
I said he's on drums, but
anyway, we'll tell that story some other time.
Okay. Burns 009. Never got to see Exodus on the Fabulous Disaster Tour, though I did see you guys with MOD in 88, and then in 90 with Suicidal and Pantera. And wasn't that a sick tour?
Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of stories off that as well, because it was the first time that the world was introduced to Pantera.
And they were opening.
They opened the show. They had changed their musical style. They were more kind of a hair metal band before, kind of Van Halen-ish, and then
before they
Cowboys,
took off.
Cowboys from Hell was their first album where they had kind of changed to more of a heavier style music. But again, I got lots of episodes and lots of stories, and so we will talk about that.
Skyox X469. This is on the Overkill episode review. Wings of War is a fantastic album from top to bottom, just like Exodus. It's great to see some thrash titans still going very strong. Horns up.
I would have to say they're still putting out strong music. Like I said on that, most of the thrash metal bands from our genre but I really enjoy that record very much. I love playing with those guys, so fuck yeah, I agree.
Okay, Les Stackhouse. Hope and wonder if you'll do something on the almighty Jeff Hanneman, R.I.P.
Yeah, good comment, because I will. And as I'm doing more episodes, I'll talk about more stuff and more personal stuff, and my experiences with Jeff and what I think of him as a writer and a performer, definitely.
All right, from the episode What We Do in the Shadows, Kelsey Adams.
One of my great
What
favorite
We Do in
shows.
the Shadows is the greatest comedy in the last 5 to 10 years.
I agree. I love every episode. I'm a horror guy, and I love campy humor, and they both go well together.
Road Stories from Fabulous Disaster, The Hotel Story, 1987. Time to Chill. Really like that you added pictures from that day into the videos. Keep it up, Zet.
We're going to do a whole segment where Walt and I look at pictures and just kind of remind ourselves of what the fuck happened on someone. So don't worry, we're going to do an episode like that.
Dublin boy here, Stevie Bustamante. Next time, make sure you have a bowl packed already.
I already do. It's always packed.
He's talking in the truck when you're rolling the joint.
I always do.
Drew Alexandra. A fucking great channel. Makes my day. Great introduction for Walt, who seems like a really cool character. Keep it up. Celeste Altus.
Character's the word, too. Character was the main word in there.
She says, I love the photos.
The photos are great. What's great is we took pictures of everything, even the ruthless shit that we did.
And Stevie Bustamante again. Walter, what up? Good job. And guest, he has been through a lot. And,
Yes, you have.
and now from the Lemmy Motorhead episode, Spooky Boo's Scary Story. Too bad they didn't have cameo when I filed for divorce. That would have been fun.
Referring to, if you want me to send a personal message for you, go to cameo.com. And yes, I will break up with your wife. I will serve you papers, video, anything, whatever.
All right. Lamb of God, the Stolen Guitars episode. We do have an update.
Yes.
3 people were arrested,
But still no guitars.
but they look like a meth gang.
But I saw those mug shots. It's like, come on. What
That
were
should
they-
tell you not to do it, kids.
I'm not pointing any fingers, Walt.
You live and learn. David Uredall. It's pronounced Chin. Also, definitely not an inside job. Just a few tweakers at the right place at the right time.
Well, I think Walt would agree with you on the tweaker part.
And now we got Screening for Vengeance. Mark Rodriguez. Hey, stoners. It's Memorial Day weekend, not Labor Day weekend.
I watched it and saw we said Labor Day, and that's right. We are stoners, exactly.
But we keep it real, right? Why
Hey,
edit anything?
exactly. What am I going to? Oh, I want to reshoot that. That's right. We are stoners, and that's not going to be the last time I'm going to. I flub words and fuck up all the time. It's part of it. Look at my eyes. Come on.
I think you want it raw, too, like that, right?
Who cares? That's what we're doing here.
Okay. The Craig interviews, part 4 series. And
We'll have Craig back in, by the way. Craig's coming back
he
in.
hasn't finished that story.
Oh, it's a lot to go.
Metal Dam 78. Zetro, Craig, you guys were lucky to be in the Bay Area in the 80s and have this community of people. Count your blessings. We have a
right
great
place,
scene
the right
here.
time. We did then. I believe it's still alive, but I think it was much more, like the golden age. It was the golden age, and it was the golden age of thrash back in those days.
And nowadays we go to shows, it's like a reunion.
It is
High
very much
school,
so. Well,
right?
those people that are still here, yes.
All right. GS. Love hearing about Russ Anderson. His vocals are amazing.
They are amazing.
Very few singers like that nowadays. Mike and Sherry Price. Remember seeing Forbidden Evil open up for Legacy back in the day at Ruthie's.
Yep, we played with everybody back in the day, and we played with them at Ruthie's. As many of you people saw, Walter and I talk very much about Ruthie's.
And he says, bring back Forbidden, Craig.
Not on me. I would love it as just like everybody else.
Okay, and then Craig Lucero writes, disclaimer, while all these stories are all true to the best of my recollection, the timelines may be slightly off kilter. Those months are smudging my memory.
Well, we're going to bring Craig back in here, and we're actually going to give him a chance to rehash some of the stuff that we talked about now that we've got to watch it, and then just kind of review it. Just re-review it before we get on to the next part.
Burns 009, the fact that most bands had a vocalist that was distinguishable from one another is what made the 80s thrash metal scene so special.
I agree with that. I agree with all the vocalists. You know, if you were us, the guitar players were very, distinguishable as well. I mean, Alex and Eric were nothing like Gary and Rick, and Gary and Rick were nothing like Kirk and James. You know what I mean? And the same thing with, I would have to say with Phil and Rob, and Phil and Ray after that, and Craig and Timmy and Craig and Glenn. They all had their own vibe to them, and with
Different
the
flavors of the 31 flavors.
That's what made the thrash in the Bay Area so great.
All right. Brad Uprising, Zet and Craig, thank you for getting this on tape.
It'll be there forever. They sit there to go back and look over. That's what's great about YouTube is the episodes are there for you.
Splinter Thompson, bring Rick Hanault, please.
Oh, don't worry, guys. Me and Rick talk actually on a very, very, very we talk all the time actually. Talk at least once a week. I talk to Rick, and I'm bringing Rick on. Don't worry.
All right, Putrid Abomination. This is very interesting. I don't usually watch videos this long, but these are worth it. Horns up.
And I will do videos that are going to be longer and shorter, depending on the content. Obviously, I don't want to get you bored because I'm the same fucking way.
Maddie DeSac, Twisted into Form still blows me away 3 decades later.
Anything from that era, especially, but those two first records are just unbelievably monumental, both of them.
I like the Twisted was more. They grew into that, and that's what I thought they were
the
great.
musicianship on that amazing songwriting as well.
Maggot Maggie, you have just acquired a fan from Slovenia. I've never heard of you guys, and oh boy, I was missing out. I guess she's talking about Forbidden.
Oh, yeah.
See, you can still learn a new trick,
believe me, there's a lot of fans out there that may have not even heard of Exodus, so believe it or not. So don't think that everybody, oh, yeah, how can you say that? I've got stories I could tell about it. It's unbelievable.
Dirt McCurt. More of these long conversations. So good.
Working on them. Definitely going to have way more people in the vault. Stay tuned.
And those episodes are highly rated on your channel here.
We like that. People like to talk. I'm talking metal with people. They like it.
Pleasures of the Flesh Festival 1988. Road Tales. Celeste Altas. That poor bus driver and you too, Walter. Rounding up musicians at 2 a.m. Sounds like a nightmare.
Walter didn't round us up. Remember, the cops raided the party, okay? And we ran to it. And we had nowhere
tried to round you
up. Well, you tried. Nobody listened to you. We had nowhere else to go. It was either A, jail, or B, the bus. So that's why we headed towards the bus.
And it's like a vampire. The sun's coming up, and you knew you had to get back.
Every fucking
to
one of us were
coffin.
trailing. And it was like every one of us that came on the bus, all we wanted to do was go to bed. Even though we were all wired out of our skull, we just didn't want to fucking deal with Scott. And we were getting yelled at by the bus driver and the road manager like little children walking up. You know what fucking time it is? It was great. Absolutely amazing. Wouldn't trade it for the world. No regrets.
The last episode is a Possessed new album review. And from Possessed, from Jeff himself, good looking out, brothers, and really looking forward to coming in.
You know what? Well, we're really going to try to get Jeff Becerra in here. That's also an amazing record, Revelations of Oblivion. Some saying in the record of the year, it is really good.
I was going to say, a lot of comments said that, and you read that,
huh? Yes, a lot of comments here in record of the year. I agree. Very, very strong album. So again, I read your comments. We do. We talk about them. Ask me questions. Anything on some of the episodes, we'll go over them from time to time. This is a segment that Walter and I are going to do probably, once a month with all the, the shows that we put up and all the things we talk about. But you guys need to leave me more comments because we love it. And again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, and you got anything else on that, Walt?
No, you like good questions, though, right? You like questions that make you think. And,
well, it seems like I'm able to go in more deep if there's more of a deeper question. I really appreciate all your thanks, and believe me, I read them and I see every one of them, and it inspires me to keep doing that. So you keep sending your thanks, but if you guys have certain questions and stuff like that, I'm going to try to address them all.
Very good. We'll see you in another interview, comments. episode.
Definitely. So for myself and Mr. Walter Morgan, we will see all you guys in Zetro's Toxic Vault real soon.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.